The brain doesn't like change. The brain, the biology, likes homeostasis. It wants to stay the same. So we resist change. So clever people like Louise L. Hay, before you do your affirmations, with her, you have to go, I embrace the change and touch your throat chakra. That really helps. It's important to actually say out loud, I embrace the change, I'm willing to change, I'm prepared to do things differently. Because we don't realize how resistant to change we often are. Pain can be an old friend, a very warm, comfortable place to go back to in exchange for the discomfort, the coldness, and the alien landscape of being healthy. When I do coaching with people and it actually works, and people go, that was cool, I feel better now, the next thing that will happen is inside of 2 or 3 days, they'll email me and they'll say, I feel weird. I feel weird. This feels cold. This feels like an unusual place to be. And it takes a while to reacclimatize to a non-neurotic headspace. And that's totally normal. That's a totally normal process to go through. So we have to be open and willing to embrace change. If you can increase your emotional flexibility and vulnerability, become more loose and open in your behavior, you might just improve your neuroplasticity. The research results are in. Emotional flexibility and vulnerability do improve neuroplasticity. So does physical movement. This is not a physical movement seminar, but if you can move your body through different planes and in a new and different way, that actually encourages your brain to become more neuroplastic. Neuroplasticity just means the rate of or the amount of flexibility your brain has. The way I used to explain this in the schools was, if you imagine a piece of blue tack, if you leave it on a cold windowsill, it gets very, very hard. If you stick it on a radiator, it gets very, very soft. You want it soft. The softer your brain is, the easier it is to learn. Neuroplasticity usually drops off about the age of 24 because we don't really learn that much that is massively new. That ain't good. That's not healthy. You want to keep dreaming. Remember I said that your dreams are actually your brain changing shape, forming new connections. If there's no dreams at all, it's because there's no challenge going on in life. So walking away from this lifestyle pattern of predator and prey, abuser and abusee is not necessarily going to be easy. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel weird. You could get into a new relationship where everything is fine and feel weird. And because you feel weird, freak out and dump them. Because there's no abuse there. And then you'll hate yourself. Isn't that cool? Yay for CPTSD. Thanks, Mum and Dad. Yay. Okay, why is change so hard? We fear change. Change is the enemy. The brain and the body don't want to change. Change requires the burning of calories. It goes against the very biological laws of efficiency to change. There is another element to this, which is, I think, I'm going to go into a bit of evolutionary psychology. And it's very hard to prove many of the assertions and theories of evolutionary psychology, I know, but it kind of makes sense. If we lived in a low-resource, high-threat environment, and we evolved in that environment for millennia as the machines that we are today, it would make sense to resist change. If I know that the good food is over there and the dangerous lion is over there, it doesn't make sense for me to move to a new terrain where I don't know where the food and the lions are, because that could get me eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. So when you today are trying to change the way you perceive love, relationships, defining even what narcissistic abuse is, which can be really difficult. If you're the victim of a covert narcissist, you'll be like, well, it's not really abuse, they're just a bit mean sometimes. Where you actually change your boundaries, your definitions, and the point at which you say enough is enough, you're going to resist that. You're going to run into resistance, and all kinds of things can happen. You can start to freak out in really weird ways. There might be a tendency inside of you to try and devalue the process, to try and say this is nonsense, this is wrong, or devalue the person who gave you the process. That's me. After the seminar, you might be like, oh, maybe he's a bad dude. That is an effort for the unconscious to go, reject all of this. Stay where you are, you're safe here. Ignore this stuff. That will come at some point for most people. There will be certainly a tendency to want to reject the process and just say, give up, don't do it, it's not safe. Do you all understand what I just said? And you can see how it can hold you back. It has already. This has already happened. If this wasn't in place, you guys would probably be fine. You wouldn't even need to talk to me. It's this rigidity. It says, no, stay here. For survival's sake, don't move, stay here.